Hello, Michael Bull here at REITCon 15, the ICSC retail event of the year in Las Vegas. I'm here with Mac Chandler. He is with Regency Centers. Mac, thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be here. Another great year here at REITCon.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you being with us on the show today. And last time I talked to you, you were talking about the Fresh Look initiative. So how is that going?
It's really doing great. It's really taken off. We're in really about the second, maybe third year of it, and it's working great. All three legs. First leg being the merchandising side of it, and really there's a big push to really hyper-local tenants. Tenants that really understand the consumer, really understand how to create great service, a great product, and a great experience. And then the placemaking side of it's doing great. We're redeveloping several centers throughout the whole country. And you know what's interesting is we just brought in a person, head of architecture and planning, first time. So really a 25-year veteran of architecture, and he's going to help us really cultivate our projects even more, really push the envelope that much more. And the connecting piece is doing great. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about our blog.
Yeah, let's talk about that now. I mean, so does it involve the blog, and does it involve social media, and is it connecting more with the tenants and the customers? Or?
Well, it's sort of all of that. You know, really what we're trying to do is we're really the conduit between our tenants and our communities. And so we're trying to give them all the tools to help them better connect. And, you know, our blog is a good example of that. So for the first time, we released that. And now we take all of our information, whether it be Twitter, whether it be Facebook, whether it be our project center websites, and it's all aggregated into one. So you can go to regencycenters.com/blog, and you can see all the information. You can see we really are putting out a lot of information. You know, we've got over 3,000 followers on our average Facebook page, and it's really working. And for the first time, you can actually see it all at once, and there's a lot going on.
All right, so you're connecting more with the community, and is that more of a trend that you're seeing for successful projects today?
Yeah, you really are. You're really seeing that, and it's either promotional events, it's could be online events, could be social, but really helping tenants talk to each other so that they collectively can talk to the community. And a larger voice is better than a bunch of individual voices. So something you're seeing a lot, and it's pushing the experience, and we're having a lot of luck with it. So
okay, so I'm not going to go around the country and see your centers and have them look the same, right? They're going to be individual, like the community, right?
Yeah, you're very much going to see that. So you're not going to see, for example, one architect stamping out his style. We've got all local architects who really understand. And this is a little montage of 9 of our projects here, and you can see each one thematically is different. It's branded differently. It has different anchors, and it really resonates locally. And you're also seeing that through local art installations, murals, graphics, hard pieces of art, and it really seems to work. It takes a lot of time, but it's really worth it.
Yeah, and you've got somebody in-house now to handle that, so that's helpful.
We do.
What about new projects? It looks like you guys are pretty active considering the kind of the low level of new construction and retail these days. Where are you active, and what type of retail are you building?
Well, most of it's neighborhood centers and community centers. So we are active. We're probably certainly more active than the typical traditional private developer, and probably either the number 1 or number 2 REIT developer. So we're having great success with it. Coastal markets, really typically the more affluent, more infill markets, but all the major markets that we're in. We've got 19 offices across the country, and we're pursuing projects in almost every office. And most of them with the grocery anchor.
Okay. And are these new projects also designed to fit into the community and customized?
Yeah, very, very much so. And not just the architecture and the placemaking, but we're also working closely with our retailers to make sure that they spend the extra time to get to know their tenant. So even within the 4 walls of a retailer, they're tailoring their stores differently. Whole Foods does a great job of that. No 2 Whole Foods are alike, and we help them do a lot of community research to make sure it fits the needs.
That's great. And how are the retailers reacting? I know in some of the markets and some of your centers, I mean, the rents have gone up considerably over the last several years. So some of these tenants are renewing and having much higher rates. How are they dealing with that?
Well, you know, they're dealing with it by pushing their sales. So their sales are up, and they're also using technology to hone their businesses. Their businesses are more efficient. So technology is their friend. It's not necessarily scaring them. So that's helping. But our renewal average it's very high. It's in some markets, it's 80%. So tenants are stepping up to higher rents, and it's because they can afford it with the better sales and better margins.
Yeah, that's good news. And speaking of technology, what are your latest initiatives coming down the pike?
Well, we're looking at some pretty interesting things. One of them that's pretty interesting is using beacon technology. And so by this I mean the beacons, which are basically, they're white pods that look like the size of a hockey puck, and you'll put them throughout a shopping center. And for customers who have signed up with a retailer's app that goes in their phone, it'll let them know when they're on the property. That shares information with the retailer, shares information with us, and helps us to get to know our tenants that much more. And I think it's going to take years to see it actually play out, but there's tremendous growth and tremendous potential, and we think we can help ourselves to better tailor our product, have a better merchandising mix as a result of all this data.
So the consumer has to opt in to be involved in it, right?
That's right. That's right. So, you've already opted in. So the Starbucks application that's on your phone that's widely used, that's a good example of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, what else is impacting the market right now? I mean, you guys are major players around the country. You got to be seeing the investment market go crazy.
Yeah.
What else do you see going on?
Well, you're seeing multifamily, play a bigger role in projects. The multifamily developers are paying a lot for land, and we actually bought on actually started this week. We brought on a senior vice president of mixed use for us, and so this gentleman is an expert in mixed use. He's done it all over the country, and he's going to help us better work on our projects. So there may be cases where we redevelop a center, and it may make sense to make a non-retail use a part of the mix. Or as we pursue new land, we might bring in a non-retail use. So that could be apartments, it could be hospitality, it could be office, it could be a lot of different things. So helping us really to better tailor our projects. So that's a big part of it.
And are mixed-use developments new for you guys? I mean, I know you've done some, but is this kind of a new endeavor?
It's we've been doing it for a long time. You're right about that. So we've got at least a dozen successful mixed-use projects we've done over the years. Some of it's horizontal mixed use, some of it vertical. We typically bring in a partner to do the non-retail use, a best-in-class partner. So really doesn't change our focus, which is still infill markets, high barrier to entry markets, best-in-class grocers, best-in-class retailers. So it's a complementary aspect of really our same focus.
Okay, and you're here meeting with all the tenants around the country today. Who's active? What are their trends here with tenant growth and expansion?
Boy, it's amazing. Just about every tenant's growing. It's from restaurants to software to grocers. It's tremendous growth. You're also seeing a lot of tenants really say that the mall business is tough on them. And so some of them are gravitating to our side of the business. So they're saying, neighboring community centers allow higher transactions, better convenience for their customers, a more approachable entry point. And so we're picking up really traditional mall tenants who are coming to our space, and that's exciting.
Okay, and your performance has been good. Your stock's been doing well. Your performance has been good. Tell us about that.
Well, we had a great first quarter, and last year our stock really performed well. The investment community really rewarded us for a lot of the discipline that we've had, and I think there's a growth story. Our same property NOI growth, we've had 3 years in a row where it's averaged over 4% a year. So this year maybe we get 4% for the fourth year in a row. We're certainly striving for it, but it's exciting times.
Some people say that retail is kind of the trailing sector. What do you think? And if it is the trailing sector, does that mean there's more opportunity along with some risk? Or
I don't know if I'd agree that's the trailing sector. I mean, it's not as white hat as the apartment business. That's the other one that's measured against. We follow rooftops, but as households expand, that's good for retail, and there's certainly been household expansion. Our fundamentals are really good. You look at our accounts receivables, it's very, very low. Just about everybody's paying their rent. That's a good sign. So we like where things sit, and we're going to keep building upon our past success.
That reminds me of a tenant that tells me when they can't pay, well, I've always paid you before. I know, but that's why you're here. You get to stay, right, when you pay.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about these low cap rates? What do you think about some of these low cap rates, and how's that impacting your business here?
Well, it is harder to buy properties at these low cap rates, but we do sell properties from time to time, and we benefit from that same low cap rate. So it sort of works on both sides of the equation. I think the low cap rates are In part because people believe in the fundamentals of our business. And so investors are willing to pay more because they believe in the story that's there. So, that being the case, that's a nice compliment to our sector, and it says a lot of people believe in it. So it does make it difficult, but it's also just as much of a benefit as anything.
Okay. If you're going to leave this interview with a tip for, say, a tenant or an investor or a landlord, what would that tip be?
I'd say if I was a retailer, I'd want to make sure I was in a center with a really engaged landlord. We hear all the time from tenants, it's a compliment to us, but there are a handful of landlords that are really engaged, that really get it, and they really are a partner with you and help you be successful. So they're reinvesting in the architecture, they're making sure the other tenants are really complementary, and the connecting piece of it. So long term, it's a good partner to have, is a really engaged landlord.
Well said. It is a partnership, isn't it?
It sure is. Long term.
Mac, thanks for joining us today.
Have a good conference. Take
All right,
care.
Michael Bull, Recon 15 in Las Vegas.
The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by Bull Realty Commercial Advisors, a great place to do business. Visit bullrealty.com. RealNex, a comprehensive and powerful suite of commercial real estate tools at an incredibly low price. Visit realnex.com. That's REALNEX. Xceligent, the resource professionals use for commercial real estate information. Visit xceligent.com. That's XCELIGENT. Commercial Search, the source to market and source available properties for sale or lease. Visit commercialsearch.com. For more information on these great companies or for additional videos, podcasts, or articles, visit CREshow.com.